Yes, good day, my people. You're welcome to this political discussion. We are still discussing Nigerian politics. Breaking news: 14 opposition parties unite in Ibadan, adopt single presidential candidate to challenge Tinubu in 2027. I repeat, 14 opposition parties unite in Ibadan, adopt single presidential candidate to challenge Tinubu in 2027. No fewer than 14 opposition parties have agreed to present a single presidential candidate to challenge incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the ruling All Progressives Congress. The resolution was reached at a high-level national summit held on Saturday in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where opposition leaders converged to forge a united front. The outcome of the meeting, now known as the Ibadan Declaration, signals what many observers see as a strategic shift aimed at consolidating opposition strength ahead of the 2027 general elections. Participating parties at the summit include the People's Democratic Party, that is the Seyi Makinde faction, the African Democratic Congress, that is the David Mark faction. Note, the PDP has factions, the ADC has factions. These factions represented are that of Seyi Makinde. We know of Wike faction. We know of Nafiu Bala Gombe in the ADC, but the ones that attended, they are the David Mark faction. New Nigeria People's Party, Labour Party Nigeria, alongside several others such as PRP, NDC, APP, Accord, APN, AA, DLA, YP, ADP, and ZLP. Shore was not in attendance. Shore is, I don't think maybe he wants to be part of this opposition candidates that will present a candidate, a single candidate against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, reading the communique on behalf of the coalition, PDP National Chairman Taminu Turaki, the faction of Seyi Makinde, described the alliance as an existential necessity to safeguard Nigeria's democracy. He said the parties have resolved to put aside long-standing differences in order to prevent what they termed the drift towards a one-party state. So the coming together of these political parties is to make sure that Nigeria does not drift towards a one-party state. They say that we shall work towards fielding one presidential candidate for the 2027 elections, which shall be agreed and supported by all participating opposition parties to rescue our nation and her long-suffering masses. The communique stated the coalition accused the APC of taking steps to entrench its dominance and position President Tinubu as an unchallenged candidate in the next election cycle. In response, the opposition bloc vowed to counter such moves through unity and coordinated political action. Beyond electoral strategy, the summit also took aim at the leadership of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), passing a vote of no confidence in its chairman. That means they don't trust Amupiton's conducting the next election, that he has to resign as INEC chairman, passing a vote of no confidence in the chairman of INEC, Joash Amupiton. The parties alleged partisanship and warned that his continued tenure could undermine public trust and trigger wider political unrest. They called for his immediate replacement with what they described as a neutral figure capable of overseeing a credible electoral process. The Ibadan Declaration further outlined demands directed at the National Assembly, including an urgent review of the Electoral Act 2026. The opposition argued that certain provisions in the law threaten the integrity of elections that should be amended without delay. Additionally, the coalition criticized recent guidelines issued by INEC describing them as restrictive and politically motivated. Among other demands was an extension of the deadline for party primaries to the end of July 2026 to allow for broader participation and internal party democracy. The communique also raised concerns over what he described as the harassment and detention of opposition figures on bailable offences, calling for their immediate release and respect for fundamental human rights. Let's look at politics. Let's guess if the coalition, these opposition parties, 14, if they come together and they are proposing for a single candidacy, I want to ask this question. If you're watching this broadcast, who do you think that candidate will be? We have major players. We have the ADC and the PDP. These are major players. Labour Party is part, but these are major players. As it is now, it will take a very, very sophisticated, united, strong opposition to challenge Tinubu come 2027. But mind you, these people that came together, most of the parties are having issues with the court. The court has not given judgment on whether they are real party members or they are real, the faction of Shey Makinde. We have the faction of Wike in PDP. We have the faction of Kachuku in ADC, faction of Nafiu Bala Gombe in ADC, and faction of David Mark. So these are factional parties yet. But looking at it critically, who do you think that is going to be agreed upon all these political parties? Who do you think that they will support? Are they going to support Atiku presidency or Obi presidency? Thank you.